Alright, let's see. Will it function this time? Oh, no? Will we? Ah, good. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay. Will we? Yeah. Okay. Let's mute that. Okay, so I had the classic content 5000 error message, which is basically where Twitch tells you that your bitrate is too high. So I had to get rid of that one. Let's see, are we switching off to desktop? Yeah, good. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the stream. I am of course the Dutchman, the one and only Dutchman, and today we're going to be making some maps. First things first, of course, we have to copy the mod's data folder, Ctrl-C, into the actual data main directory of the game. So then we Ctrl-V and then we override when asked. Let's listen to the microphone for a sec to see if it's not too loud. Ctrl-V and then we override when asked. That's way too loud. So what we're going to do is we're going to boost that. Boost the mic a little bit. I was just recording a few ship battles, so I use different recording settings for that. So let's see. Yes, replace. And then we turn off the music again, and then I'm going to listen again. Settings for that. So let's see. That's still a little bit too loud. You know, instead of putting that there, we may simply turn down the audio of the actual PC. So then I'm gonna talk over the mic or over the music a little bit again, and then I turn it off again, and then I see if it worked. Mic or over the music a little bit again, and then I turn it off again. Well, I mean, almost. We're just gonna stick this there, and then we're gonna hope that it works. Music, of course, gonna keep running, because we do like the Elder Scrolls soundtrack. All right. Open. GOG Games, data, art, maps, and this is of course the list of the maps in the vanilla game that we still have to change. There's quite a few of them. We have to always sort by date modified, and then we yeah, these are to do, and these are already done. Yeah, Korlag, Dagobah, that sort of thing. Coruscant. Yeah, of course we may start with Coruscant. Coruscant, of course, quite a fancy map. I'm not sure how relevant the Death Star starting position is that we have to set up for the game, because normally you're not going to see the Death Star at Coruscant, unless you did something very wrong, of course, as the Empire. Urban backdrop, that has to go. Then if we click randomly, we should get the Death Star position. Yes. Delete that as well. Then we go to map properties. We're going to size up the map to the mod's normal standard, which is of course about twice as large, which is of course one block of map placed in one part of a square. So you actually get 4 times the surface area. Let's see. Is that the defender? No, that's the... Yeah, no, that's the attacker. The blue ones are the defender ones. So we're going to move this towards the edge of the map. Over here, I'm going to keep these defense satellites because I do like them. A little bit of debris. We can have a little bit of debris, though I don't like to scatter them in the middle of the map, mostly because it creates... It used to create issues. I have since fixed that, but I still don't like it because you can still see ships like flying through debris and stuff. So we're going to restrict that towards the edge of the map. What's that? Right, special structure can be like... You know what, let's actually put that next to the debris. And right next to the defense outlines. Maybe a little bit in front. It's not very practical, of course, but it shouldn't be freely defended. These are the attacker positions. So we're gonna move over there. A little closer to the edge. So. Okay, so what we have now done is we have sized up the map. Let's see, I do have my scene set up properly, right? I'm very professional, I just show OBS on stream. It's not very professional, of course, but that's okay. Yeah, everything works. Okay. I have, by the way, since last stream, looked into the possibility of adding nebulae back into the game. And I don't mean the gas clouds, I mean the backgrounds, of course. Because as much as I like the current background that we've got, having a little bit of more colorful scenery, I think for some maps would be nice to have. I do like the more desaturated look of not having colors everywhere, but I think some maps would benefit from a little bit more color and a little bit more colorful background, which of course I can't do with the stars alone. So I haven't gotten them yet, but I will at some point incorporate them. At that point I will go back, open the maps again, set a nebulae which only takes like 5 minutes to check anyway, and then I will put them back in. So that's not that difficult. Let's see, I changed the process of placing the Death Star last stream, I think. Well, what was it? It was either first you place the planet or you first place the Death Star, but I can't remember which one it was. You know, I think it was first place the planet and then place the Death Star. That's what we're going to do. AAA Coruscant. There we go. So where do we want the actual planet? We could have an orbital-ish battle, much like Revenge of the Sith. I think in the previous mod release it was off on that side. You know what? I think I might do the orbital battle idea, but then we have to go at least to minus 15,000. I still have to change this texture. Did I not change the texture yet? I thought I fixed that. No, I didn't. I should have done that in the UV. Okay, so let's see. Let's take some units. Space units. Providence. Munificent works too. Give me a Munificent, give me Providence. If we can find it. It may be in unique units. I kind of spread the neutrally buildable units all over the unique unit and normal buildable units. No Providence, or did I skip past it? I think I skipped past it. Providence destroyed, there we go. Okay, so this is how it's going to look in game. Of course, currently right now, the lighting setup of the map is not ideal. We do want to change that. So what we do is we go to nature, we change this to... Really? Can we change the... we'll see. Okay, so 45, 0, let's set that to 5. Remove ambient light, as well as the other fill light settings. The ambient light, of course, I'm not a fan of, never been. It basically fills up the map with light from all directions, which is not interactive with, for example, the shadow mesh. So it simply brightens up part of every mesh. It adds color, which I don't like. example, right now, everything, even without the shadow, if you set the shadow to white, with an ambient color which is completely black, you will still have black sides on your ships. Now, the one annoying part that I think it's actually quite a big flaw of this game is that the lighting engine, which if you look at this, if you now set the shadow color to black, it'll function properly because now the shadow that you can see is completely black as well. But say if you want shadows which are not entirely black, say only slightly, for example, we're going to set this to 91 luminosity. If you then look at the bridge, you can see that this, you can still see the normal, the armor, you can still see the coloring on it. It doesn't completely obscure the ship, but if you then look at it from the rear, you can still see that everything is black. That's because the ambient color adds the darkness of the ambient to the shadow. So if there is only shadow, then you can still get the slightly darker color, which you set with the shadow color. But every part that is not illuminated by the main light, which right now sets on a 45-degree angle, so it's about there, and shines down directly here. If I tilt it to 0, you can see it better. Then it will still display everything in black, even though you might not necessarily want that, because you want this shadow color. So the only way to fix that is to set the ambient color up to like 15 or something. And then you get a reasonably dark side. But then you get another issue, namely that the other side of the planet does not work with that, because the other side of the planet is still illuminated by the ambient color, but is not affected by the shadow color. I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, but it is important to get it right. So what I think we're going to do for this map, because it is of course Coruscant, and I do actually want the orbital battle that we saw in episode 3. I think I'm going to set the ambient to nearly black and then the shadow to black as well, to have a more of a darker setting. Like so. Now we can set this to say 12. That's 20, not 12. Why is specular completely blue? Interesting. Set that to white. See how this looks. Of course, if you look at the actual Revenge of the Sith battle, which let me just quickly go to Battle of Coruscant, then you will see that there is actually a crap ton of light everywhere, as in this is a very illuminated battlefield. You can basically see everything that's going on at any time. So if you want to emulate this, you actually need a very high ambient lighting setting. For example, this is like more set to what would it be like? Maybe even higher. You know what? What if we set a slight coloring to say here? Set this up to. And then we set the diffuse color of the actual light to there. Maybe we desaturate this a little bit. Saturation, ooh, say maybe 60. Okay, so now we get a very yellowish thing, but the sunrise is always supposed to be slightly red. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the hue to maybe 20, maybe even 15. How about 10? Oh, that's ballsy. And this we can change to 25, which is what it was. And now you get a little bit of a darker red hue, which is of course nice, but the shadow is still interfering. So what we have to do is, if we want that orbital battle where everything is illuminated, actually I have to set the shadow very light. You can even disable it entirely. For example, this is closer to what you see here, and even this is so illuminated, there's light everywhere. I think the only way to emulate that is to actually turn up the ambient light, which I'm not a fan of myself. But this is basically how this would look, right? Let's see, can we get this image full screen? Yeah. Even in the shadowy parts, which is I think this side of the ship. Yeah, this side of the Magnificent is darker than that side. You can still see pretty much everything that's going on, so it can't be too dark. And though you can actually set the shadow, maybe what about we set that? But these are very dark ships in general. I mean, if I were to place a Star Destroyer here, click on you, and then the Star Destroyers are down. So you see, it's very light. Very light. See? You know, it actually doesn't look that bad. Let's see. Oh, that is Discord. I should keep that down. Did not looks alive. Well, welcome to the stream. Nice, even if you don't like the planet skin a lot, as it's low resolution. Well, it's not really low resolution, it's just stretched across a very large area. Could tile it, I suppose. But you know what, maybe tiling. Oh, whatever, I'm not going to be exploring the planet balls again. Or at least this is the impression given. Well, what you have to realize is that it is a very, 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 very large object, okay? If we actually set the map boundaries to maximum, which is of course 100,000 distance units, now you will see that this planet mesh is absolutely massive. It is huge, and the entire texture, which is just a single 2K square texture, has to be stretched across the entire thing. Now what you can do, of course, is you could try to... No, that's 2,000. We're not doing that. Did I just move? No. You can try to tile your texture, but I don't know how well that works, especially with a shape like this. The planet is still stretched, by the way. There's an issue with the texture where the texture artist actually made this to fit a spherical model, and the UV to fit a spherical model is always slightly stretched. So what he did is he stretched out the entire texture. So now we get these ovals instead of circles. Which can be fixed, of course, but I have to open the model in 3ds Max and then stretch the texture or the UV itself back into a thinner shape, a thinner rectangle, so to say, so that the circles or the ovals once again become circles. But that will, of course, decrease the texture quality even further. I also just realized that since I set the planet model and then deselected it, I can no longer change the location of the planet model. So that's kind of stupid. Did I not make a backup of these maps? I think I made a backup of these maps. Art. Okay, maps. Good. So if I want to, I can still open the other one and then relocate it. But we're gonna see if we can work with this. Yeah. I'd love to have it even larger, but there are some issues with that, so shouldn't get out of range of the camera. How far does the camera actually go? So if I can lean, oh, I can lean back plenty. Great. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to open the other. No, wait, I can't do that. Okay, so we close the map editor. What we then do is we go to the copy, Coruscant, copy, paste. Now we have the backup again in the work folder. So we still have the backup, but we can now work on the older version again in the work folder. So then we open it again, and now we should have the original map back, as you see here. There's Coruscant, this is the map, there's that large nebula. Now we're going to size it up again. And we're simply going to set the position back of all these objects. You guys are going to go These flags are difficult to select from that angle, so we're just going to select them from here, move them about like here or something. That works. You I set to the side. And now we're going to do our best to create a decent orbital battle. Okay, good. So we're going to start again with the planet position this time. These are the markers. Coruscant. So, let's see, how are we going to do this? There needs to be at least a, I think, 10,000 distance units difference between the playable area of the map and the planet prop. So it has to be at least at minus 10,000. Now, what that also means is that the planet prop is going to be limited in size. And if we really want that super stretched out planet prop feeling, then we need to get it closer to the battlefield. But the closer we put it to the battlefield, the more noticeable it's going to be that it is not actually as far away as a planet would be. So if you pan around the map area, you will still be able to see, oh hey, that planet prop is actually fairly close to the map. So if you set it to, say, for example, 5,000 distance units, you'll be able to clearly see that it is just a planet prop. And I can't simply size up the prop because, well, it'll hit the edges of the map. For example, this is great. You can clearly see that it's very far away, but again, this is so far, so close to the map that if you zoom in on a ship here, you can clearly see that it's just right on top of the planet prop. Now, as I said, for minus 5,000, that issue persists, even though this looks fairly okay. But you can still see if you move around the map. Let's get a little bit closer so that we have an actual camera distance, which would be relative to what you'd have the mod like so. For example, if you move around, you can still see that the planet moves with you moving the camera. So that looks bad. I don't think minus 7. I mean, we can try. The minus 7,000, as you can see, it's already much, much better. It doesn't move around nearly as much. You can still clearly see that the planet is far away from the camera. And that's of course the effect you want to have. But the farther you put it down, the smaller the sides are going to be. For example, if we go... okay, the 5,000 level was apparently removed. If we set it to 5,000 again, then you can see that it goes far further out. It's the balance you have to strike, and you really have to think about what do you want to achieve with your map, what are you going for, and then you have to position your props accordingly. And I think in this case, minus 7,000 may be acceptable. Minus 7,500, that is. I'm going to try 10 though. So this is 10. Yeah, it's okay. The only other thing you can play with is location. You can try to set the location, for example, up to, say, 8,000 distance units, and of course it goes negative, because that's what this game does. No, that's 2,000. I dislike the map editor mostly because it has these range issues. Yeah, that's good. So now what we've done is we have simply moved the prop a little bit further to one side. So if you reset the camera, which I think is home, right? Right, that resets the camera. Now you can see this, which of course makes the prop look larger than it is because the horizon is further away from you. That's of course only an illusion because you moved it. Because if you now turn around, you can see that that is closer than that. So if you set that back to 0, it's now centered again. Yeah, as I said, the only other thing that you can do at that point is this was the position. You can't change the angle. Not that one. This one. To rotate. I mean, that's too much. How about we have a 5-degree angle? which of course tilts it slightly. You can't do it too much. For example, if we set this to 30, it's gonna look weird. Of course you can have this angle, but then you need to move it further away, because now, since you tilted it, there is still going to be a part of this planet mesh which is very close to the map. So we don't want that, which is why you use small angles if you want to create these optical illusions. Now, an angle of 5 degrees, for example, makes this look better, because now, since it's tilted, you get the optical illusion that the planet prop is larger than it is. Though again, if you turn the camera around, you can clearly see that it's just an illusion. Even though it's not actually that bad. Maybe minus 10,005 degrees is the exact point that you need. It's like that sweet spot. Oh, I actually kind of like this. Actually, kind of really like this. Wish the texture was higher resolution, but again, I can't quite do that. Yeah. I think I may actually leave this. We'll see. How does it look in the battle? Yeah. I mean, in the CGI battle, you can clearly see that the planet is so far away from the actual battle, and it's so much larger than I can make the planet prop that I just have to work around it. I would love to be able to create this, but I simply can't. I have limitations of the engine that I have to work with, and that's what you work with. Rakasan1 says, I think it would be worth it to do one pit in the future. What? I think it would be worth it to do one pit in the future, as it makes the ship look even better. I am sorry, I don't entirely understand what you're talking about there. Darkier says, hello, welcome to the stream, man. We're making maps here. We're currently working on Coruscant. I'm trying to create an orbital battle, much as you could see in the opening of Revenge of the Sith. TK1054 says, how do you have those lanes where ship is going in some battles? What are you talking about, lanes exactly? If you mean the layer Z script, that is simply cat's layer Z script which spawns ships at different heights, which is an absolute lifesaver. It looks so much better to have ships spawn at different heights than all on the same plane. That's Cat Vanku in general is just a lifesaver. Love that, man. What about changing the curvature of the map? The curvature of the map. You mean the curvature of the planet prop? Yeah, you can do that, but I've tried several props, and I think that this disc that I have right now is the best version you can get. I've tried several. I've even tried to increase the height of the sides and then make it sort of dip inwards, so that you still have, if you point here, your battle, you can still kind of see everything further away, but it created a little bit of havoc with the lighting engine, since of course the planet is supposed to be a sphere and you are playing on a part of a sphere, so that when you have the light come from one side, you are expecting to see spherical lighting. But with the dip that I had in the planet prop earlier, you can actually see that there was just a shadow around the edge if you set the lighting to a certain distance. So it really restricted the lighting you could have, and I didn't like that. I want the lighting to be flexible, since I think that gives a map a lot of atmosphere. And I'm all about atmosphere in this mod. I absolutely love that. So yeah, I've tried several things, but this is the best I could come up with. The direction the ship is taking. What, you mean the debug lines? You just enable that in game constants in the XML folder. Undertaker number 1, welcome back to the stream, man. I think it means the lines that you see in your videos. Yeah, those are the debug lines. You can enable them in the game constant. Simply search for, like, I don't know, show debug or something, pathfinding or whatever. Search for debug and you'll probably find it. It's set to false, simply set it to true, and you will get the green lines. Like the path it takes, yeah. What is planned after finishing the mod? Damn, that's a question and a half. honestly, I think that with the current frame we've got for the mod, you can just keep building it out, right? I mean, if you want a different era, you can, well, quite frankly, simply add it. I mean, we've got the ships at this point. We've got so many Clone Wars ships, you could basically build a Clone Wars mod out of it. Well, after the mod is done, if you mean... I don't think it'll ever be done, honestly. Done means that it's finalized, you've reached that point where you say, now I'm happy with it, that's it, the end. I'm never going to tweak it again, it's the final version. And I constantly keep tweaking things, even in existing content. Models get changed, code gets changed, and over time there's actually been some really sweeping changes across the entire thing. Things like projectile speeds and such, and projectile sizes are still changed on almost a weekly basis. I'm quite happy with the system I've got currently. I haven't actually tweaked them in a bit, but they used to change every week, always. Constant changes. So no, I don't think it'll ever be done in that sense. What is going to happen at one point, of course, is I'll stop working on it and I'll say the last version released is the final version that will be out. There'll always be more to tweak, always be more to add and to change and to improve. You can always improve stuff, and I constantly do improve stuff. In fact, I have to stop myself from improving content that's already done, just so I can get to all the stuff that still has to be done, since I constantly want to keep improving the existing content. So after I stop working on the mod, I mean, honestly, that'll probably be the end of my modding career. Mostly because this is my project, right? I like working on this, sort of build from scratch, and I try to change it into the best version that I can. So yeah, once I stop working on that, it'll probably be the end of my modding career. So that's the answer to that question. If you meant just, do you have another project in mind? I mean, not really. Any other mod that I would build would be based on the framework of the remake mod. So, and since the framework of the remake mod is still not entirely done, there's still things that I need to change, like some fire particles that do need to be changed because they're still not good enough. Even though I just said I need to stop myself from changing stuff, but yeah. Once the framework is done, you can build any mod out of this mod. And I may add more errors to it, maybe, if people want it. Again, it kind of depends how long the Patreon support lasts. Because if the Patreon goes to 0, then it's probably going to be me done. Because I'll have to get a job to sustain myself properly, and yeah. Yeah, as long as the Patreon goes, I'm happy working on the mod further and adding stuff to as long as people, or as much as people might want, really. Different eras, as I said, maybe some additional heroes and such story events. But once either the Patreon dries up or people have no more interest in the mod, then that'll just be the end of it, quite simply put. I've thought of making a Halo mod. I have never played Halo. I have once sat down and watched like I forgot if it was a 6 or an 8 hour video, but on YouTube it's basically a 1080p, 60 FPS, massive compilation of all the screenshots, cinematics in Halo. Seemed interesting, went a little bit off the rails at some points, I think. They have like this anniversary edition or so, which has like super crisp cinematics. That looked really cool. I'd watch that again if they make another game with such high level CGI. It was like Blizzard level CGI, only for like large and lengthy cinematics. I love watching those, of course. But other than that, I've never played it, so I've kind of got no interest in it. Yeah, that's the end of the questions. Oh wait, we're getting another one. Undertaker number 1 says, roses are red, violets are blue. One day we'll cruise down Blood Gulch Avenue with red versus red and blue versus blue. It's I against I and me against you. Oh, that's some poetry. I'm not one for poetry, really. Is this good? Yeah, I mean, right. The reset camera hotkey is home, which I need to remember. It still bugs me that this looks so low resolution as it does. Actually, once we change the UV to keep it in, actually, it'll actually be better for the resolution. So it'll look slightly higher res, but still. I'd like it to look higher res, but whatever. Engine limitations, we're gonna say it's okay. Though these clouds look very, very, very transparent. Fuck it, we're not changing that. As I said, I need to stop tweaking stuff until it's perfect, and I need to get some progress done. Because as much as I love to spend months on like single effects like the Death Star, that's been tweaked for months on end. Until it was finally at a point where I was happy with it. And it were just small incremental changes to, for example, the firing effect. That I just kept tweaking and tweaking for days on end. And that went on for months. And now we have an effect that when I see it in game, I'm like, yes, that is so good. But it takes months to complete that, literally. I'm not kidding. And it's simply not worth the time. I mean, someone like Warpnull, for example, who's like, bam, model, bam, model, bam, model, at least he used to. He'd finish like 5 ships in that time, right? Like, complete from scratch. And now I'm still tweaking one single object. So sometimes you do have to kind of just go. Okay, are we happy with the planet? I'm happy with the planet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Nature tab, and then we're going to do the lighting. Fog, start, fog. Screw fog. No one wants that. How about we copy the Coruscant map once it's finished and we use it for a different urban planet. Taris there's Fondor. Is Fondor urban? That looks relatively urban to me. The Legacy mod. I need to play that again. That adds some excellent atmosphere. Yeah. No, this is good. This is good. Okay, so we're gonna set this to that. We're gonna set this to there. Specular color is gonna be set to simply, well, white. Diffuse color. What did we say? Saturation of, I think it was 25. Oh no, wait, a U of 25. Saturation can be like what, 200? It's not like it is that colorful. Yeah, I think the saturation should be really low. So it shouldn't be 200 at all. How about we change it to 40? And then we change the luminosity to say 100 and... That's still dark. Okay, so how about that then? That's better. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the lighting engine. I can't make it as realistic as a completely super fancy CGI battle, of course. But I can try to get as close as I can. I think this we set at 50. No. Saturation. No. Forgot to set the luminosity. Did I not set saturation up to? No, I changed the U. U should be 15. At least I think we set it at 15. The ambient light color is really a sweeping change. It's applied everywhere to every mesh always, and it's always in effect. So you really have to be careful with it. Can get some pretty awesome effects with it, but again, you have to be careful. For example, I think this is already too much. The planet is black. We can still simulate that though. I mean, if the color of the thing is from there, why don't we change the angle to there? So that when you look at it from home, you can see that there's one shadow side, and then we change this to 20. There's one shadow side, and then there's one illuminated side. And I think this is actually fairly close. I'll put some Star Destroyers on it after I check chat, and then I'll see. Making a Halo mod. Warhammer 40k for Star Wars Empire War in your style can be very, very good. Yeah, probably, but you need quite a lot of models for that. And I don't have the time to make all that. You'd have to basically model all the factions from scratch, unless of course you rip it from some game. I think there's actually a mod that did that, isn't there? There's some other mod DB, and it was a while ago that I've last seen it updated, but it did exist. Which actually ripped a whole bunch of 40k models from a different game, and it put them in Empire at War. If I recall correctly, he actually stole a whole bunch of my assets too. But that does exist somewhere. No, maybe we need to change the ambient from this to like 5. Make it really red. Let's turn on some different music. I've got no idea if this is going to get copyright struck, but I just found this song a few hours ago and I love it. Sick beat. The battle. Yeah, see, it's just not that saturated. Or at least it doesn't look that saturated. So what if we change this to 50? We set the saturation back to 5. Now see, now we're getting a lot closer. I don't think we're getting close enough yet. Yeah, that's all off. That's set to 50. What if we set this to max? No, that's not the way to do this. It's ambient lighting. The intensity of the main light is not that high. The Venator is in the Unique Units tab. AKA referred to as the Jedi Cruiser in the original game. Wish I kept intact. Oh right, there's the shadow of the bridge. I was like, what? You know, if it had this pattern on it, like a darker area here, that actually wouldn't look too bad. So now we try to make this look like this, which is a little impossible, but I'm going to do my best anyway. Maybe we do want maybe a Lacquer Hulk in the back. Set to like -5. I have a Providence somewhere, yeah, and the units down. Just regular space units. I'm not actually sure what the difference is between a regular like space unit and a unique unit. I just know that they're different tabs. Right, give me a Magnificent and give me a Providence, and then we'll be happy. I still haven't actually coded in the Rexant yet. The model for that is finished, I just have to code it in. I think we want a little bit more color. I know we just desaturated it, but I'm gonna turn it back up again. Ooh, look at, whoa. Was that it? Was that the magic? That may have been the magic, ladies and gentlemen. Turn down the shadow. For all those people who thought that the mod was too dark, this one's for you guys. Because you can now see, with the ambient light turned up this high, you can now see everywhere. I'm going to be switching screens a lot, so sorry about that. No, see, the lighting here is actually quite high. That may just be the reflection, but I think I'm going to try to... See, airships do have quite a bit of reflection, so they should reflect quite nicely. What if we set that to 0? Ooh, okay, that's quite high. It's a little difficult to determine where exactly the light is coming from here, because I don't see any cast shadow. Oh wait, I do, and it's pretty much at the 0 point. That's annoying. Yeah, that's true. That doesn't work for this though, unless we significantly increase the luminosity of the ambient. Let's see if we change this to... See, we had the sweet spot and now we lost it. We went ahead and we bumped it. Okay, what was this set at? 11 and this was like 80 or something? And we set this to 20. And I think this looked very, very, very agreeable. Let's see how this looks with a little bit of bloom. And not with that cutoff point, of course. Cutoff 5. What did Legacy do again? Empire at War Legacy mod. Legacy had some absolutely amazing mods. The guy who... The fuck is this? Give me back my... Right, cookie. No, that's still not it. That's it. Yeah, as I was saying, the guy who actually made the... That looks significantly higher resolution. And it is the same texture, I know that for sure. Alright, but here we see the difference in texture resolution. The resolution is actually the same, but it's stretched across a much, much smaller thing. So over here we have stretched it across a vast disk, and now it looks lower resolution by comparison. But I can't quite make it smaller because then all the circles also get smaller. And as you can see in the battle, you can still clearly see that these are huge. Still looks nice. I interrupted myself again. The guy who made the Legacy mod was actually quite talented. He was really good at what he did. He made some wonderful maps, which looked beautiful. Like this lighting is just wonderful. Absolutely loved it. Looked so good. Is that not the magic, ladies and gentlemen? Also a very interesting use of blue. However, I don't see it in any of these screenshots, so. Which may be because they're taken in the map editor and you have to enable that by default, and I don't think you knew about that. Cheesecake, which is the name of the Legacy dev, did like his map editor shots. I need to play this again. It's a little old at this point, but it's still good. And there was always a little bit of bloom active. Pretty much everywhere. Which actually did a great job of hiding the some of the inconsistencies in the ship models and such. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to set the cutoff to 0. I'm going to set the size to like 0.5. Oh, it can't go smaller than 10? Okay, that's okay. See, you smoothen up the whole thing just by adding that one setting. Which also may mean that we could set this back to, say, 5. Then we still illuminate the whole thing. It's too much. Too much. What if we set it to 0 with the bloom? It's not bad, right? I don't even know if this translates well to the stream. I actually had to reduce the quality of the stream significantly to get rid of the Twitch error. So I'm sorry if you can't quite see the difference in the stream. It's actually quite significant. Undertaking number 1 says, I really hope I can get the money on the side to commission a new arc hammer. It looks positive right now. Well, the arc hammer is definitely a ship that could use a redo, but it's one of those side ships anymore, right? It's not quite the main focus of the whole thing. So I don't really feel the need to redo it, honestly. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. If you want to commission one, sure, of course. As I've said in the past, it's great weekend build material. I know the last couple of weekend builds have actually been going on for quite a bit longer than a single weekend. They're actually just now finishing up, and that's just because Beta decided to help out on the textures. No, it's actually raining outside. I'm not sure if you can hear this. Hang on a second while I check if this is annoying for you guys. Well, I can't actually hear it over the rain outside anyway, so it can't be too bad for you guys. And I'm also going to reduce the music volume again. So, yeah, arc hammer, I don't think it really needs a redo. At least not for the purpose that the mod uses it, but if you want to commission one, I'll surely do it. It's been a while since I've taken up a new thing. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did the Recusant about a week back, I think. Module out, welcome to the stream, man. Says, I'm wondering, is it actually possible to increase the planet texture resolution? Absolutely. You can. Ooh, you know what? I am absolutely going to keep the zoom setting. This is strength 1, cutoff 0, size 0. I'm gonna remember this because this looks very interesting. I'm gonna test this in game. Fuck this! I'm gonna test this immediately. I'm actually going to right now test this bloom setting because this looks amazing. Remake mod. I'm going to use the test. You guys are going to get a sneak peek of one of the upcoming versus videos in the test, which is a test I did of the ISD2, two ISD2s against 6 Munificence and a single Providence. And I'm going to increase this bloom setting to exactly what we just saw. Strength, that, cutoff, we're going to test this right now, right here. And I also am going to change the zoom settings again. That's screenshots. That was a sneak peek at the hot fleet that you just got to see in that image, which no one saw because it went way too quick. And the file I'm looking for is actually here. It's tactical cameras. Yeah, I mean let's just change it to 3000. It is needed, so. Now we're going to test this boom setting. So I actually just did this battle. I recorded it before the stream, but we get to see it again. I can hear that even through the music. Okay, so let's get that going. Oops. How many times do I have to click before? Oh, right. Herp derp. I did not select the map. Okay, first of all, this zoom level is perfect. That is excellent. Now I want to see how the projectiles on the bot work with this bloom setting. So what we're going to do is we're going to send everything forward just like we did in the video. Do we get flickering? I exported a bunch of CIS ships again to get rid of flickering. I don't see flickering, only the blue. Oh, I see flickering here. Oh, look at that. They're so perfectly illuminated. No, I just mean you and you in group 1. Oh, that looks cool. That may actually be a little bit too bright. Do I like this bloom or do I not like this bloom settings? About 2 weeks back I changed the turbo laser texture to be less visible. Using these bloom settings will again make them more visible. Can we get one of these up? Yeah, but we need it from the top and we can't zoom in that far because we just changed the zoom level. What is the highest magnificent? That one. Okay, so I mean the projectiles look okay. It's actually not bad. It's fairly good. I mean, they're visible. You can clearly see what's happening, but they're again so bright. And I changed those textures to look less bright, and that looked good. So if I now change it back to this, that's again going to defeat the entire purpose of the texture change. I don't even know if this is visible on stream, by the way. Right, quit, exit again. And then we're going to do the same thing again without the bloom. For which I did not actually need to. Okay, so it was visible. Noise indeed. Thank you. I added the icons a few days ago because, well, I mean, they have to be added anyway, so I thought, why not do them now? Hey, Nico, welcome. A magnificent display of space. You know what? The word magnificent is not actually familiar to me. And I know that a lot of these ship names have a name that is rooted in a word, but I don't actually know what this one means. Very liberal in giving or bestowing. Magnificent donor, so magnificent gift. Characterized by great liberality or generosity. Learn something every day. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing again without it, which means we're simply going to set the cutoff to 1, which means it doesn't display, and then we're going to do the same battle again. Now I have no problem with making a few maps more and less bright, right? Should rephrase that. I have no problem with having a greater variety in how the blooms is set up across different maps, but I do want to make sure that it kind of doesn't make the entire thing look vastly different. Right. So the Empire now. And this beat is just great. I'll change back over to the Elder Scrolls music soon. Not now. Soon. See, the entire thing looks very different with the bloom settings. It's just there's so much, and I don't think I actually managed to fix the phasing issue on the ISD2 yet. For some reason, when I tested the ISD2, the dummy hardpoint that makes the ship point the correct direction, which is forward in this case. Yeah, see, this looks very different. See, and now they correctly look dim again. This is what it was supposed to look like, but the bloom does change it. I like how the bloom changes the look of the ships. I don't like how it changes the look of the projectiles, since it makes them all very bright and flashy and stand out so much. I don't want them to stand out. I want them dimmer, which looks better, in my opinion. Otherwise you get this god-awful light show that like TR had in the first couple of releases with these gargantuan projectiles which were brighter than everything else on the map and larger than entire starships, with turbo lasers longer than Star Destroyers. I think that looked kind of silly. And I've said so on multiple occasions. And I'm very glad that they switched to mesh lasers. And the explosions look great. They look great without the bloom, right? So what we can actually do is, luckily, we don't actually have to close the game to test the new map setting. What you simply do is change the map, and then it'll reload the map as soon as you do it. So now it has the bloom enabled again, and then we're going to try this thing again. Lots of repetitions in my speech, I've noticed. Okay, so let's try this again. See, it looks so much brighter. And you do get flickering simply because which is, maybe if we increase I see engine flickering. I don't like that. Yeah, see, laser flashes are now huge, like gargantuan. Yeah, It actually makes the explosion look better if they don't flicker like that. Yeah, the laser flashes are bright. It makes the ship look pretty good, but the flashes are just very in your face. And I like the subtlety of normal projectiles much better. Makes explosions look pretty good though. Yeah, okay. That's enough. Okay, so I think I'm going to keep the bloom at Coruscant at least, but I'm not going to add it to every other map, obviously. As I said, I do like some variations in the lighting of the different maps. Changes atmosphere, and I like that. So now we're going to do it again. So we're going to go back to Coruscant. Then this is without, and then we turn it on. That became a lot brighter. I'm taking number one. No, that's towards Nico. Best kind of punch. Man, you are full of punch. You're like a fucking pun machine gun. Let me rephrase that. Incredibly lame pun. Nico says, Ed Jerimo, did you forget I told you that you could edit the map? That's exactly what I just did, man. Right. I like flashy projectiles. Can barely see shots usually in your mod. Well, if you have the dev build, then the latest version should have the new projectiles. I think should have them, so you can see it there. But remember, the idea of these ships is that they're large, and you need to make in game. You need to create a sense of scale with the ships, and you have a very limited asset pool of things that you can do that with, right? Your toolbox is very limited. So you have to use everything in your power to be able to make these ships actually look as large as that they're supposed to be. For example, the opening battle of Revenge of the Sith, you can see the, let me get out of this infinite loop of me. In the opening battle of Revenge of the Sith, you could clearly see like the starfighters shooting through the ships, and everything looked large and wham and impressive and wow, looks cool, right? You don't have that in game. This is an RTS. You don't look at everything from a starfighter level. You look at everything from a ship level, like from this distance, right? So you really have to try hard to get that same effect going. If, for example, you're following a fighter, I want everything to look massive. And one of the ways you can do that is to slow down smaller things, like, for example, fighters, and make things like projectiles small, subtle, relatively slow, which will make everything else seem larger. For example, and other things, make ships slower. I don't agree with, for example, what a lot of mods do, which is simply slow down all ships to a crawl, but give everything a sense of mass and weight. Like, have slow acceleration and deceleration instead of hit the stop button and boom, everything stops. No. Have everything get up to speed very slowly to simulate that you have to put a lot of power into the engines to actually get something to move forward. And another part of this, which is what you complained about, which is keep the turbo lasers small, keep the projectiles slim and thin and maybe longer if you need a larger projectile, but don't make them super thick and massive and huge. And for example, what France Revenge used to do, have turbo lasers the size of Star Destroyers. That just makes everything look smaller by comparison. No, you want everything to be a spectacle. You want everything to be a cinematic, a movie, good to look at, nice. You need a lot of things to that. You need good explosions, you need good particle effects, you need... Explosions are, of course, particle effects. But you need everything to kind of work together to create that one coherent vision. And to achieve that, I want the projectiles to be slim, small, and subtle. Now, there are projectiles which are larger than others. The heavy turbo lasers, for example, are significantly larger than a regular turbo laser shot. And a lot of bloom settings on maps will really bring out the projectiles, like what we just tested, which we're about to apply to Coruscant. That'll help, and that'll make them more noticeable. But I think the mistake a lot of other mods make is that they make projectiles too pronounced. You no longer see a ship against a ship in which they fire weapons at each other. No, you see a turbo laser light show with a ship on one side and a ship on another side, and that's all you see. You don't see a ship against a ship engagement, you see a light show. And I think that that is quite a serious mistake that pretty much everyone makes, that I really try hard not to fall into. So to respond to your criticism, in not a gargantuan monologue, I think this is better for the sense of scale and the atmosphere of the mod, which I work very carefully and hard on to get proper. End monologue. Okay. I like furniture projectiles, right? I have the B version. Subjar, go Evoken. Welcome, man. Welcome to the stream. It's been a hot minute since I've done a stream. It's been a while, actually. This Magnificent seems kind of weak, but purposefully I have the mod. I explain exactly that in the upcoming video. So if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, you will see a ship versus ship video come up too, actually, of a couple of Magnificents. And I go in depth, in detail about what they actually do, the strengths and weaknesses, and how you're supposed to use them. When is the Steam version? Where? I like the kappa behind that one, man. That's good. It's good. It's getting a little hot here. Not gonna lie. So yeah, if we turn off the bloom, we get a significantly darker view of the map. Okay, let's get back to this. You'll notice that there is absolutely zero bloom on this. Everything is sharp, everything is clearly visible, and there is no distortion of any kind available here for your eyes to take in and to create some great optical illusions. But I kind of have to do that in game because the lighting engine fucking sucks massive loose dick. So you really have to work with what you got there. Yeah. Alright, I've been listening on repeat for quite a long while now. Let's go back to the Elder Scrolls soundtrack. Okay, what do we do to emulate this inside this map editor? We need more ambient light. Gonna change the luminosity to 20. No. 30. Oh god, that is so bright. That's too bright. That's way too bright. In fact, 20 I think is already too bright. That's just literally gonna distract from the battle itself. We're not doing this. Is there a hotkey to switch off bloom? No. See, if you turn off the bloom, it's not nearly as bad, but if you turn on the bloom, then you're fucked. Because then everything becomes way, way, way brighter. Still needs to be desaturated. Fuck. Okay, so how about we change that to 60? Okay, how about this then? What do you guys think? Should we just go for it, or shall we tweak this to infinity? I already know the answer to that one. Everyone's gonna say, "The fuck are you doing? You're spending way too much time on this shit." But spending time on shit is how you get it pitch perfect. That's how you get the quality that we are looking for. It's also a great example of the difference between brightness levels on ships. For example, the CIA ships are relatively dark, and then there's the Venator, which is of course far brighter. No, that's the Deathclaw. I want what? No. That's the second time that happens. What? Dreadnought cruiser? Add it in. Okay. Of course, this wasn't at the battle course, but whatever. Please not on screen. Munificent and the Dreadnought are actually kind of opposites of each other. The Dreadnought is quite a bit of health, while it doesn't have that much firepower. While the Munificence is pure firepower and just paper mache armor. Which is kind of funny because it does have these massive armor slabs, but it does have a lot of exposed superstructure. Which I'm assuming, if you were to engage this, you aim at the superstructure and not at the gargantuan armor slabs. So, let's see. And we're looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2. Never played it, but I hear it's a great game. Depends if I need a year to make a PC version, if it comes to PC at all. I assume it's gonna come to PC. How else are they gonna include loot boxes and shit? Gonna have to squeeze that dry completely. I found the issue, which has been staring me in the face this entire time, but as usual, sometimes you have to think about it for a while until it hits you. The issue with this is that the lights of the city are way too bright. Way too bright. So you have this reasonably contrasted heap of ships together, and then in the background there's this massively super bright city, which is way, way, way too bright. That just hit me. Which, I'll change that in the thing, of course, but also means that we have to balance the ship lighting around the ships and not around the planet, which is a problem because that's kind of a major part of the whole thing. And I think this is actually good, and this is without the fucking bloom. If we turn on the bloom, then we get this brightness galore fest. So I mean, we may still be able to tone it down a bit. What we simply do is we change the luminosity again, I know. Change that to there. Diffuse color to say 75. But you still get these massive brights. What if we go with more? This looks so insane. The difference in darkness on both sides. On the Venator, you can clearly see that there's a lot of brightness even on the dark side of the ship. And then you look at the Providence, and then it's like boom, darkness. Which I suppose is just the texture and the angle of the thing. But the Dreadnought's on the dark side as well, and that is relatively light. So. I should stop trying to min-max this whole thing. Which I'm trying really hard to do, but I shouldn't. It looks better on the Providence with a darker shadow, but it looks better on the Venator with the darker shadow, but it doesn't on the Providence, so we may have to stick to this. Okay, so what's going to happen, off stream of course, later on, is I'm going to open up the Coruscant model again, and I'm going to decrease the brightness of the light significantly, until it's more in line with what it should be. And I will probably keep that. Yeah, I mean, let's just... Is this good enough? Because this is what it's going to look like in-game. Oh great, some rain. More rain. It means it's going to cool down. I do appreciate that. It's just not this dark. It is just simply not this dark on the map. Okay, we're gonna go with the happy medium. I'm gonna go with 15. The problem there, quite simply, is that, well, this ship is a lot brighter than this ship, so... Yeah, that doesn't do shit. Now this would do shit, but... Really? Really? Now the light is literally coming from the planet's surface. And the top is dark, but the bottom is bright, which also kind of gives an interesting effect. But since you only ever see the battle from the top, no one's ever going to see that, so... You can have a whole lot of fancy lighting settings and setups from which the light goes from, like, from the planet and it reflects from all sorts of sides, and that's all nice and fancy, but no one's ever going to fucking see it because no one pans down. So that's wasted. So as interesting as this looks, simply not going to work. Also, it would be nice that if you set the thing from down below, that the clouds would actually start obstructing the light instead of just letting it all pass. But I must say, I do kind of like this. For example, if you look at the... if we bring up the Lockerhawk for a sec. See, that does look interesting, right? That is not what the lighting was like in the Battle of Coruscant, so no. Yeah, but it wasn't red though, so... That's better. So many options and we can only pick one. But I feel like it should have a bluish tint to capture the scene you base your version of on. Maybe. How is the Executor doing? Well, the Executor is done, so Sadly, the vertical rotation has a issue where sometimes it doesn't register hits on the model, which is significantly annoying. Once you have, for example, heavy torpedoes hitting it, which simply go through the thing, which is annoying. I'm not willing to give up the vertical rotation because it simply looks way too dope. So, I'll go about the blue tint in a bit. Looks like motion blur from the city lights. Yeah, that's just the low resolution. The bluish tint. I don't really see a bluish tint. I do, however, see a yellow tint and a red tint. And of course, if we are looking at a sunrise from a scientific standpoint, red light breaks differently. Well, every color light breaks differently from other color lights. Each color has a so-called refraction index. No one needs to know that. Basically what you need to know is in a sunrise or a sundown, red light breaks differently from other colors and is more visible than, for example, green or blue, which is the blue being the least visible, of course. So you actually, in a sunrise or a sunset, you see a red color because of the refraction index of red light, which is why a sunrise or a sunset is red. Seeing as the Battle of Coruscant is, of course, during a sunset, I think. No, sunrise it was, I think it was. We do actually need a somewhat a color on this side of the spectrum, right? Which I chose red for. But if you look at the planet, then I agree that it looks more blue. But I think it looks blue not because it is blue, but I think it looks blue because everything else is reddish, yellowish, and so by contrast, black would look blue, if that makes any sense. I keep trying to make it look like this, but that's just not gonna happen. You know, we need some fucking dirt and grit on the Venator textures. Yeah, but that's just not gonna happen, mate. We're not gonna start editing all the textures again. I've been looking at this for like so long now. I've been working on this for almost 1.5 hours now. This is why mapping takes so long, guys. Okay, we're going to set this to 0.5. We're gonna keep the ambient light where it is, I think, and we're simply gonna roll with it. I will change the... Really though? I mean, it's just kind of wishy-washy. Don't base it on the starbase, base it on the ships. And if we base it on the ships, then... Okay, I would love to create the cinematic scene, guys. I would love to. But I think this is the best I can do. Okay. We're just gonna go with it. You know, it just hit me. We can't actually test the Death Star position on this map since, well, you'd have to move all the way to Coruscant from all the way across the galaxy on the galaxy spawn points. Now we're going to start editing a whole bunch of XML files to make a spawn closer to Coruscant and then eventually test the Death Star. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to simply put it somewhere and then say, marker, Death Star. Whoa, 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 whoa. First we need to save this. If we want to use this for... No, wait, I'm a retard. What we simply do is we take this exact map, we port it over to Fondor, and then we test the Death Star there. So what we're going to do is we're going to save as, and we're going to hope to see Fondor somewhere here. Land? What? No? Oh, right, it's saved there. Data, art, maps. Fender. Which isn't done yet, right? No, I don't think so. Where's Fondor? In this? Is Fondor in this list? If it's in this side of the... Yeah, right, there it is. Okay, so this is now Fondor. Death Star spawns there. Doesn't really matter where I put it. Sure. No, not sure. 4,000. Give it a token distance. Not that much anyway, but hey. Gonna keep it selected. Always keep it selected, otherwise we can no longer change it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to date modified. We're going to select Fondor. We're going to copy. And we're going to go to the maps folder and we're going to paste. I'm going to load it up and see if that works. Hang on a sec, guys. Get some of this cool air in. Let's see, I think the Empire is closest to Fondor. I removed the Death Star from the spawn positions for the death kill. Right. Silly me. At least I think I did. Right? Yeah, it's gone. Right? It's gone. Luckily that's an easy fix. I don't know the exact name of the Death Star off the top of my head. It may just be Death Star, yeah, double I. Okay, so then we're going to go to 10 planets and colors. Yeah, but this does not spawn. Active player Underworld. Active player Rebel, and this should be the Empire. Whatever. And then we save, and then we do it again. And there we have it. Now where's Fondor? Right there. Let's send some assistance because I'm not sure. We do actually have to go through that. Oh no, wait, we can just auto-resolve it, never mind. But do we want to? Probably, because there's probably a massive fleet waiting here. Knowing me. Or was that BS? I think it was BS. We do eventually have to go through the Galactic Conquest spawn files again and clear up all the spawn positions, because occasionally you do play some armies. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. So we're just going to auto-resolve this, because we can do that with the Death Star, and then we're going to go to Fondor. Tactical battle imminent. By the way, for those who haven't seen a build stream before, the reason we do this is to test the Death Star position. What?
Sensors are reporting that there is a hostile presence surrounding the planet. Lay waste to any forces.
Are we outside the map? We are outside the map. And this is why we test it. This is exactly why. You did not just deselect the fucking thing. I hate this game. Okay. Composure, my friend. Maintain it. It's not that difficult. Okay. So, sadly, the map we've now made is finished. We can no longer change the Death Star position because actually we may be able to, but I doubt it. Yep, it's gone. Isn't it? Can we still select it? What if we just scroll all the way out and move the camera over there? Maybe we can still get in range of the selection box. I don't even know what the selection box is. It just appears. There's going to be a whole lot of scrolling in the hopes that we can get there. I'm just scrolling now, guys. Do we get it? Wait, what? Did you get it or not? I think we had it. No? Space junk? Space junk? The hell is the space junk? Hang on, did we just... We may have just fucked up. How badly did we fuck up though? Do we still have a space station? God, I hate this. Whew. Too hot. Okay, so. There's debris. We should somewhere see a space station. I swear to fuck, man. Okay. $2,000. Not $20,000. $2,000. Right. So the map tiles, that's new. I never knew that one before. The trials and tribulations of being a modern in Empire at War. They are many, and sometimes it is worthwhile to spend effort on your content, perfect it, spend time, and when it all comes together, you're glad, and you can see that it all works and comes together into this beautiful symphony of death and destruction, and it looks wonderful. And sometimes you just want to fuck it. I'm just gonna fucking... Alright, we reached the max zoom. That's the first time I've done that, I think. So can we get it from here? That's the space junk again. That's the space junk. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, we have finalized our Death Star position, not necessarily because we wanted to, but because the map editor has forced us to. So now we're done with this map. Hey, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Welcome to the stream, man. You have found me in a very frustrating time in the map or in the stream where the map editor once again completely fucks us and takes away our ability to reposition objects that really need to be repositioned. I don't know, I think the blue comes from the atmosphere of the planet rather than anything else. Yeah, that's very possible. Did I start blowing up Coruscant? Well, we didn't blow it up. So. Okay, well, that was you know what? Maybe if we set a second position, right smack bang there, to the thing of 5,000, and then we save it, and then we do it again. Maybe it overwrites it. Maybe it only uses the last marker set, which would actually be quite useful to know, which I never tried before, strangely enough. So we're gonna try that. Ooh, a little bit of thunder. Always enjoyed thunder myself. I liked it. Lightning, the whole shebang. Forces of nature at work. I like watching it. Liked it in general. Always have. It's kind of a bit dark though. I hope I'm still visible on the stream. I'll check in a bit.
Enemy forces ahead.
I could use a second monitor for this type of stuff. See, this is more the lighting setup that most mods use, you know, not real any deep blacks or so, or very bright lights. Just kind of everything kind of looks the same, right? No, I think I just used the first marker. Yeah, and there it comes in view.
Commence primary ignition.
God, that looks so fucking awesome. See, that is why I spent so many months on the Death Star, to get that effect.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Okay. Everything just blows up. God. It's not necessarily even the explosion, it's just the firing effect that I like so much. Okay. So I wish that had helped, but it didn't. So. And well, that was Fondor, ladies and gentlemen. Now we can do. Actually, this is supposed to be Coruscant, and then we can Coruscant, and now we can save this as Fondor, and now we can try different lighting. So I'm just gonna go to home again. And what lighting setup shall we use this time? Could make it very bright. Do we even want to reuse the map? I mean, it did kind of destroy the Death Star position, so using that across multiple maps does, of course, screw it up across multiple maps. No, they're still visible. A very boring 45 degrees. With a darker ambient color. Actually, do we want that? We could just change the bloom, to be honest. That'll be good enough. I did like this lighting setup. Yeah, let's make everything a little bit brighter. Let's get another Star Destroyer in here. That's not a Star Destroyer, but where did that go? Here. The Mon Calamari cruisers are definitely among the. No, actually, they're not that dark. I kind of like this though. Bloom is active, so. I don't like these flashes of the map where it auto-saves. I mean, you can still see clearly everything that's going on, so why not use this lighting setup? I mean, you can darken the shadows a bit, but there's no real need to do anything else, right? Currently at 200 luminosity. What if we change it to 150? Again, as I said, the lighting of the background prop will change. They'll be dimmer. So right now the contrast may be a little bit too high. That will be changed. I just like this, honestly. We're going to leave this exactly as it is. And we have the Fondor map done as well. Now, if we could change the Death Star position, I would. But sadly, it fucked it. Which is only a problem for the first, like, 60 seconds of a battle, but it's still annoying. After I worked so long and so hard to get this Death Star working properly, and to get the distances set up so that it starts from one end of the map and starts getting closer and everything is to scale, or reasonably to scale, and it still looks good. To then have something like this kind of ruin that, it is kind of discouraging, but that's what we live with here. Old game, shitty game, there's limitations, okay, happens. Death over there. Death. That's rather red, isn't it? What the fuck is this? That looks very red. That does not look very red. Do we go with the red? Yeah, I don't get enough. I don't get enough excuses to make a red. To make red maps, so that's what we're gonna do here. Do we still have any viewers? Yeah, we do. Couple. And I'm gonna turn this on again. Because honestly, I like the music. Okay, so this time we're gonna do the planet and the Death Star positioning first before we do anything else. Because I'm not falling for that one again. Probably will, but just gonna act as if I want, right? It's gonna be okay. Now we can start with a nice backdrop, but that's probably not. If we make it red, it might look interesting. But oh, that's the bad texture. And this one, I have no intention of making a very orbital looking map like the other one. So we're just going to place that to minus 20,000. It doesn't look bad, right? That clip? Nope, it doesn't. That's good. Okay. Just our position, and this time I'm going to try something new. I'm going to actually remember what values I put into the coordinates. 50,000, which isn't going to translate to 50,000 or whatever. Alright, that's 50,000. I'm going to set this to 15,000. Now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna save it, and I'm gonna delete it again. Right? But bear with me. Now, if it fucks up, I don't have to do it again. Right? I can just simply place it at the same position where it was, where we just set it to, and then we know it'll work. Actually, let's copy the other ones over as well. I do like this chair. My old chair was, well, let's be honest, completely done. It's served me faithfully for many years, and it's carried my ass for probably about 4 or 5 years or so. And it's done well. It was relatively cheap too, but it got to the point where the backrest, the moment I actually leaned back into the chair, it could no longer support my weight. And that's not because I'm a fat motherfucker, because I'm not, but because the thing actually, like, there's a pin which secured it. That thing was just so done. And you couldn't just replace the pin either. I think it was deep inside the mechanism. I tried to open it up a little bit to see if it could be fixed, but it wasn't. So I just got this chair, which is just a very comfy, sturdy thing. It's actually quite old, I think, but it's still great. It's one of those solid things that were built like, I don't know, 50 years ago, that just stay good forever, you know? They never break. Right, Galactic Conquest. It's also never endured the abuse that I put my other chairs through. At least not yet, so we'll see how long this one lasts. It's just comfortable. It doesn't have armrests necessarily. It's not very soft, of course. I mean, I'd say it's bamboo, but that's bullshit. But it does really look like bamboo. I want to say it's wood, but you know what? It may actually indeed be bamboo, which I may not know what I'm talking about, but it's actually more comfortable than it looks, which is quite good. Of course, those of you with decent chairs will know what I'm talking about. Where's Dathomir, ladies and gentlemen? Dathomir. Do we have any Dathomires here? Where the f... About to say, are we gonna get tropical thunderstorms, guys? I'm okay with that. Dathomir, right there. Right, let's go to Mirker first, or however you pronounce that one. I like to think that I've got a decent grasp of the English language, but some of these planets, man, like Ithor, okay, Angamar, Dansween. Abrigado Ray. They're like, what? Or okay, Socorro, that's not that bad. Mustafar Polis, let's see. Rat Attack, Raket Prime, Ilum, Volek, Eaton 2, Kali, Bastion, Serpip. Never mind. I didn't want to try that one. Okay, and then we'll go to Terrace. Actually, we could actually use the same courses map for Terrace. What does Terrace look like right now? Why does it have a Providence though? It's not really a problem. I mean, we've got the Death Star, but ooh, I like this lighting. Right, this is the Death Star position where it can't actually fire, isn't it? Let's see if it actually... Is there even a planet? No. Oh, it can... Okay, so it just takes like 10 minutes to get into firing position, but it can fire. We may have just blown up all the viable targets, so... Is there anything else we can fire? Yeah, there. So can it now reposition or what?
No, it can't fire, right? No, it can't. Why does it have to rotate? I don't understand the rotation. I mean, you're at the absolute 0 point, only very, very high up. Why would it need to rotate in order to face a target? Like, it can rotate every which way it needs to. So I don't understand why it has such difficulty with it. Strange. We do actually need to kind of... Alright, we can't auto-resolve because we disabled that. So let's just very quickly get through this. Any other viable? Lol, that IPV dodging like a fucking boss. What a hero. But go on, get it. Okay, good. Oh, it's quite the turning circle you've got. Okay, definitely. Wait, did I not position it there? Okay, so it's kind of not in where it needs to be, but okay. You know what I kind of miss? I kind of miss the view in original Empire at War where you had planet, Death Star, map, right? You could see the Death Star, you could see everything that's going on, and if it rotated or something, then you could see that, right? But you can't do that if you want the Death Star to scale, because the Death Star will take up the entire map, right? Not even the entire map, it will take up everything outside the map, and it will be so huge that it will actually spawn the map inside the Death Star. So you can't have planet Death Star map, because, well, the Death Star is too big. And add to that the increased size of the planet props, and it just can't be done. You need to have planet on one side, map, Death Star on the other. And you can rotate that however you want, but you're never going to get the planet and the Death Star in the same view, and I think that's very unfortunate. I could scale the Death Star down to like 25% where it's only like 40 kilometers instead of 160, but I want to keep that sense of scale intact, you know. And then sadly we have to sacrifice the scene for that. So did I just miss a whole bunch of stuff? No, we didn't. I missed nothing. Ah, chat's dead. Okay, but real talk, we can now set the Death Star position again. So what if we set it to the same? What if we set it to 50, 50, and then minus 10? You can see it's already changed the positions even though I don't even change that. So we're going to save it again, then we're going to... I was about to say... it hit me that I don't actually need to close the game, as Nico has said. You don't need to do that. Force of habit, really. So yeah, how's everyone doing in Streamland? Everyone enjoying themselves, I hope? I mean, I know this isn't one of the most entertaining things to watch, but I hope my commentary makes it bearable. Enemy forces ahead. Go get him, boys. Do we spawn the Death Star outside of the... We may have. No? Where the hell is it? Oh, right. Well, that's still outside the map, so... Also, I rotated the Death Star upside down in 3ds Max. Because I think that looks better in-game. Which may look a little silly, but I do think it looks better. Okay, so what if we just put it like there, only very fucking far away, so it's like x0, that is 50,000, minus 50,000, otherwise it's not gonna work. And then we put that up to say 15k. Save, delete again, because we have to keep doing that. And I close the game again, damn. I do like that screenshot. It's horribly outdated. The mod doesn't even have any nebulae anymore, but it still looks nice. Oh, that is so close to working. I'd say close enough, but no, fuck that. We don't have to close the game. That's good enough. I remembered it this time. Okay, so let's see. What about 20k? How about max 25k? Higher than that, it won't go. And then we set the Y position to. You notice how it always changes back to 30k after I change the verticality? This is undoubtedly the most tedious process. Is this undoubtedly the most tedious process? Because I'm not sure, man. I was about to say this is undoubtedly the most tedious process I've ever done in modding, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. I do wonder where this Death Star is, though. No, it's not there. It can't be there. Are we outside of the map again? What? Wait, what? But you... Okay. But did you spawn in the map? That's what I want to know. Did you spawn inside the Star Dome? Because the Star Dome, of course, is only so large. Now, you may say, gee, mate, why did you just increase the size of the Planet Dome? Or the Star Dome? I'll tell you why, because the moment you start zooming out more... Yeah, there it goes. It stops rendering. It doesn't just stop rendering that, it stops rendering everything, so... Luckily though, I think this is... No, this is still not close enough. Can it at least fire? Yeah, it can. Good. If I just rescale the Death Star by like 5%, this entire problem is gone, but... Okay. 20 max.
try it again. This will probably work. We almost had it on the last one. And I just keep incrementally increasing the distance until we got it. But, well, it is the trick to get it as close as possible, right? You don't want to have it too far away. And just playing around with its position relative to the planet. Because it doesn't exactly spawn where you put it, which is half the annoying part. Oh, fuck! Why does this not work? This works everywhere else. Why does it not? Because you place the planet directly on the bottom of the map, which you never do. Remember, map, planet, Death Star, not map, planet, Death Star, because then the Death Star's too far away. It spawns at a set distance from the planet, so it's my mistake, my bad. Should have thought about that one too. Luckily, we can simply go to Dathomir, copy it over, and then we do this. Do we have to? No, we have to close it first. No, it doesn't. It looks great. In fact, it gets the. Let's see, what's the one? One Death. Where is it? Where's that one amazing shot? Somewhere here. Yeah. It gets this effect, you know? You have the Death Star, and it's technically upside down, but it still looks awesome. So you get the ring here, and then you get the dish there. Again, if I made the planet and the Death Star itself smaller, I could play around with the location a lot more, so you actually got that effect, but it doesn't always work. And besides, it faces to rotate. It rotates to face the enemy ships anyway, so it doesn't quite function. It's just the downside of having the turret behavior. So you can't really set it at a distance where you like look from the dish sideways. The dish will always face the map because the Death Star will rotate to make it so. Okay, so now I'm gonna actually set you like all the way over there. I'm gonna set you up to 15k. Do we clip? I think we clip. 18, so if I enter this, it should. And I think we no longer clip. Good. Okay. And then we go to the spawn marker again. And then we go there. What if we do mine? No, we're not fucking around with that shit again. Hell no. 10k. Boom, save, and then 3. I'm actually fairly confident that this time it'll work, but you can never be safe enough. Especially with this game, let me tell you. I'll put on some different music soon. So you guys don't have to listen to the same thing the whole time. This is also the only time I ever do these maps, but like this is such a tedious process. It just takes so long of these these dumb changes that you have to constantly keep making, and these small alterations to distances. It's so tedious that I just basically never do it. Unless I'm on stream, which is why I stream this. So. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got it. Does it fire? It probably fires. Great success, ladies and gentlemen. Great success. Feels good, man. Okay. With that done, let's position this in the same location where it was, which was about here. 10,000. Did we set it to 10,000 or 15? I think it was 10. By the way, you guys will have noticed that I actually put the planet shader on the Death Star, which renders it slightly differently, so that you actually get this glow effect around the Death Star that you get around planets as well. Which I think makes it look significantly better. Alright, time for some different music. Let's see, what do we have? Bunch of stuff that'll get me copyright struck. How about we don't? So how about we take that and that and that and then that and you and you, and there we go with that. Good. And now for the map lighting. Oh, oh god, no, we don't. Fuck. Now we have to wait until that finishes because I can't alt tab out of this one. This is not the stream where we proceed with our Knights of the Old Republic playthrough. No. That will happen though, someday, but not today. Zero, zero, and where do we put the lights? Turn on the bloom. They never changed the bloom settings in these maps, ever. In the entirety of Empire at War, they never did it. I don't understand why, but they never bothered. How about we have some super heavy bloom on this map? And we just make everything red. Just red everywhere. Not that red. No, come on, select. Can we get two? Yeah, but this doesn't really help though. See, the issue I have is that you still see this ring, which is all illuminated. Even though the rest of the prop is clearly in the darkness, that ring continues to be illuminated, and that is because the shadow mesh is non-existent. Mostly because it doesn't render it, so I figured why export the model with a shadow mesh if it's not going to render it anyway. There's not much I can do about that. Sure, let's set it at 50. Be generous with it. Save. How's that look? Actually, let's just... How many fucking defense satellites does this thing need? What the hell? You got like 4 here. These are actually all defense satellite missile pads. Oh, none of these spawn, okay. I was wondering, like, why would you have so much shit here? But they don't actually spawn. Maybe we should shut them to spawn. Maybe we should shut them to spawn, see? No, maybe we should set them to spawn. What the hell is neutral? There. It's like, what the hell? And I don't even think the missile pads do anything. Because it's the laser pads that actually are the buildable satellites, so. Get rid of you guys. Really? Just one attacker? Normally there's multiple of those flags, but okay. It does occur to me that I consistently close the game even though I don't have to. Thank God for the autosave system, man. You have no idea. That saves so much time. So good. Right. Thank God for the autosave system. Saves so much time. Huh. Eventually, I do want to do away with the tech system, the entire tech system. I'm working on a way to do that properly, but it's a long and tedious process, basically. The way I actually want to set it up is I want to use starbase levels as tech levels, and I want to use the starbase system so that it takes so long to actually get a starbase and the multiple levels of it takes to get up to, for example, Corvette construction to Star Dreadnought construction, which is say the Executor or the Eclipse, and take the time in between that as a tech level. And it would basically mean that it takes so long to get the... Oh, that's pretty cool. Fighter icons weren't there, that'd be screenshot material. Fuck, screenshot material anyway. You got a super laser for me there, honey? He didn't even hit the station. That's the fire arc of the Death Star. But it doesn't really matter. But yeah, the new tech system would revolve around building construction and not so much around actual tech levels. You wouldn't be hard capped at ships, for example, but your ships would be capped at what buildings you've got. And you need, for example, a super high level shipyard, which would have multiple levels added to it. Currently, I'm thinking about 8 levels per space station instead of the current 5, and then the last 3 would just unlock super capital ship production, or well, not unlock capital ship production, battle cruiser production, which is say the
whatchamacallit, the Bellator and the Purifier, and then after that level 8 would be the Star Dreadnoughts, right? That would be the Executor and the Eclipse. And these star bases would just get so long, or would take so long to build, that would be sort of your tech level. So that you could also lose that shipyard, and they'd be absolutely fucked. You'd have to rebuild the whole thing from scratch. So you'd be very incentivized to really defend your core planets. I think that would be an interesting system, but we still have to set that up. So yeah, okay. So I like this. Next thing, I'd say that. What, guys? What the hell is going on here? The fuck is that? Can I not just click to select the Death Star thing? Because if I can't, then it's GG no re. No? Fine, next. We'll deal with this one later. See, now it works. Fine, I'll leave the nebula in for some things. Here we do. Modulab asks, will the mediator you made on one of your one-day build streams be included at some point? I'm going to be very straight, most likely not. Partially because it would need a significant amount of work before it actually is up to the standard of model that I like. Sorry guys. It would need a significant amount of work, it would need a lot of turrets added, it would need a lot of details, and the one-day build stream was really... Oh fuck. The one-day build streams were really meant to illustrate that you can't quite build a good ship in one day, at least a large-scale ship. Specifically, that one-day build stream was designed to show that you can't build a huge ship in one day and have it be a great-looking starship. And it fulfilled its purpose, kind of. We did build a large ship, and we did it from scratch. We rigged it, we textured it, and at the end of the day, it was indeed in-game. In fact, it was almost exactly 24 hours later where I made the video of the mediator saying, guys, it's done. Almost 24 hours after we started. But it would just need so much work done that I don't honestly think that I feel like doing that. That, and I don't think the Mon Calamari need a gargantuan capital ship. If the Rebellion had such a ship at this time, it would use it, and you'd have seen it in the movies. So I do want to stick kind of to the time period, and that includes not giving them gargantuan battleships. They can still build neutrally buildable ships like the Lucker Hulk, which are large and powerful, but I don't want a specific Mon Calamari cruiser, which is basically a heavy battleship. So to answer your question, most likely not. Iridu, Iridu. That's not telling me anything. One of the Outer Rim's most active trade centers. So what is it? Is it temperate? Probably temperate. Planetary terrain, industrial cityscape, waste zone. So it's urban. Okay.
13,500 kilometers diameter. That's not a large planet. That is not a large planet at all. What a shame. I like the overall design of it. It just lacks detail, but I can understand your reasoning. Yeah, you're not wrong. You are right. Planet. So we are going to use the urban backdrop again. What are we doing? Why are we here? Go to space prop. Alright, we have a specific Iridu backdrop. Interesting. So we are going to position this bad boy right to the side. Where's the enemy fleet drop? In there. So we're going to put the planet somewhere over there. That's good. Minus, well, just for fun. That doesn't work with such an angle, my friend. So we need to do minus, no, 15,000, no, 1,500. Then we change the angle up to so. And then we should not clip, hopefully. I don't know, that doesn't clip, good. You sure? Hang on, guys. I don't know if I did this properly. I don't think. If it doesn't clip, then it barely doesn't. So we're just gonna say okay. And we're gonna run with it. Death Star position, which is under marker, and then a Death Star spawn position. $2030. And then we move to Iridu. Iridu. Something tells me it's somewhere down here. Yep, there it is. There's gonna be a lot of auto-resolving. You know what? Maybe I should disable auto-resolve whenever you got the Death Star. That's actually a great idea. Prevent story... Prevent auto-resolve or something. There's a tag for it somewhere, I don't know where, but it'll be used. I'm not going to add that until the mod releases though, because being able to just drive through the galaxy like this, for testing purposes, so useful. Melistar. Melistar? Melistare? Who knows? You can tell. Consortium expanding. The hell does that fleet get? How many? Oof, 24. Pirate forces are no joke. I think it worked.
These vagrants stand in our way. Eliminate them to prepare for a land invasion.
Does it fire? Sometimes there's an issue where even though the Death Star spawns properly, it won't fire. So you do kind of need to test that every time. Well, that's a wide angle destruction you just had. Of course, the ISD escort of the Death Star are ISD-1s, much as you saw in Rogue One, which I think is nice and thematic. Yeah, no issues with that one. So how do we make this map interesting? What do we do with the lighting settings this time? Heavy bloom, no bloom, some color, infinite possibilities. On all the other planets we haven't used that super heavy bloom effect, so maybe we should on the next couple of planets use that bloom effect. Because this is quite nice. How about we do a green tint for once? On a waste planet, that's not. And besides, it looked more like this anyway. Yeah, I did like the red. Let's stick to red. That was blinding. That is blinding, and maybe it looks good. We'll see. We need to position the marker again. I actually can't remember what we set as the values. Which is actually really fucking dumb, but okay. We're just gonna try it. And that is too bright. No? Modulat asks, just a technical question, does anyone have performance problems with the Steam version while running this mod? That probably depends on what version you have. If you have the dev build, then you'll notice a very remarkable performance increase upon the public version. If you have the public version, then yes, that does have some performance issues. I got both the Steam and GOG version, but the GOG version seems to run much better, even though the Steam version is supposed to be the go-to version. No, actually, the GOG version was supposed to be the go-to version until Steam updated itself. But, yeah. The last public version of the mod, which is from September, I believe, did have some performance issues. It ran, but actually it ran fairly well for what it did. But it has since then been significantly optimized. I've basically gutted every particle we had. Explosions they haven't been redone, but they've been optimized so much that
well, they're practically new, and they run so much better. People who have the dev build will be able to confirm if you ask a bit around the Discord server. They'll tell you too that the next version will run significantly better. So it also had to make room for all the new things in memory, like there's a lot of there's been an increase in the command cap, for example. You can spawn a lot more ships in the current build of the mod than, let's see, we did say it, right? I think we did. You can spawn a significant amount more ships on the map at the same time than you could in the previous version of the mod. So it also had to run a lot better, but even with all the extra ships and the extra fighters and all the extra projectiles and all that shit that it brings with it, it still runs a lot better. But yeah, the public version I think runs best on the GOG version. I think, but don't quote me on that. That is quite blinding, isn't it? That's a nice thing. See, if every map had this lighting, no one would complain. But if every map had this lighting, I think it would be too boring. You want to rotate it so that you can see the dish illuminated. But yeah, I like this lighting. I need to play around with blue more. I always have played around with blue a lot, but I've never really set it all to max. Basically because I thought it would be too strong, but apparently it is actually quite good. Felucia. Ah, this is going to be a very, very, very green map, I can tell you that right now. No Death Star? Okay. Let's see. Where do we put this? Felucia, of course, is a forest planet. I know that one off the top of my head, because of Battlefront 2. The good version, of course. I've played that so much, man. I used to play Battlefront 2 all the time. Entire, probably months. Just day in, day out when I was a kid. Just Battlefront 2. That was it. That was my life. Just Galactic Conquest. All day, every day. Those were good times. Good times. But yeah, let's first actually do the planet props as we have been doing for the past little bit. Let's look behind me. What is that texture like? There's no Felucia, right? No. So we're going to use this, and I'm gonna... Only thing I don't quite like about this chair, since it is of course just a regular chair, doesn't have the wheelies under it to move around, so I have to kind of manually do that. But this just really helps you sit up straight up, so that's bad. Help you sit straight up? No, help you sit up straight. Switch those words around. We're gonna place the planet. I know exactly what. Watch this. What? No, that's not what I meant to do. Shit.
Man, I do love Warcraft music. It is so good. And we're not going to do that. We are going to change this to 10. The last time I did this at 10,000, it fucked the whole thing. So I may want to use this and do it a little bit more carefully. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to place the planet here, right? That's probably good. Marker, Death Star position. I'm going to place this. Very, very, very far back. Death Star prop. I spent so long on these hangars. This texture that you see right here, has an ungodly amount of time put into it. And it doesn't look like it from a distance, but to get it looking right from a distance, as if there is not a lot of work into it, took so much work. It's hard to express how long some of these things take to do, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Oh, no. Okay, then we'll go to minus 35. Okay. Felicia, let's see. If I had more range to work with, I would absolutely have some scenes where you have like, as I said a little bit earlier in the stream, where we have planet, Death Star, map. I think that would be very cool, but again, I'm unwilling to resize the Death Star, so. I have to look up here. No? No? Okay. Ooh, that's a bit of a travel. Okay then. Cruising from one end of the galaxy to the other in this mod is not a very quick endeavor. It's not something you just do. Let's see, just that way. We'll go on. What explosion particle does this give? Right, that one. I have to change that. What are these fleets, man? Oh wait, that's the rebellion, never mind. I was like, the fuck kind of pirate fleet is this? But that's actually a rebel fleet. And I bet you that if we engage this, we're gonna lose. But luckily we have the auto resolve, so that doesn't happen. That clip? Barely, but okay. We'll go with it. It's good enough. Good enough. Does it fire? Always have to test that. And I don't just do it because I want to see the Death Star fire.
I do that because it does. Oh my god, these flicker issues, I swear to fuck. Okay, I'll fucking re-export the whole thing again. Flickering issues are the bane of my existence. They are truly, truly annoying because you only notice them once the whole thing is done and in game, and then you think, oh fuck, I have to go back and do this shitty thing. It would be nearly as bad if I could do it on Windows 10, but I can't. I have to restart the PC every time I want to start 3ds Max and make a model edit. No matter how small it is. Restart PC, start Windows 7 partition of it, and then run 3ds Max. Okay, let's see. Actually, GG version runs fine on my machine, it's just steaming, but yeah. Yeah, that's also actually my experience. So. Yeah, let's go back to, what do we say? Something like, I can't recall, man. I just recalled that it worked, so we're just gonna. Oh, right, I remember what it was. We did that, and then we did... Okay, and now we change the map itself. I'm not going to design entirely new maps, guys. I'm just going to move the props around and then say, okay, close enough. Mostly because imagine how much longer this process would take if we actually had to design entirely new map layouts. Okay, and now the fun part, which is going to be the lighting. I'm thinking green, lots of green everywhere. And again, blue. So how about we just stick to 90? That works best probably. Minus 25 sounds good. Full blast. Loom. Maybe a bit too much, eh? We can roll with this. I think we can really roll with this. Okay, so anything else that needs to change? No, that's... The process itself is not very complex, as in changing the maps. It's just that the Death Star positioning, the constant repositioning makes it so tedious.
But once it all works, we'll have a mod that functions properly. And then it'll be worth it. Always is. Wait, stop. I've got the autosave. Don't do this, no. Fuck, never mind. I hope that didn't override the autosave, otherwise we have to cruise through the whole galaxy again. Right, darker shadow. That's pretty good, no? I like that. Do want darker shadows though. Absolutely. So darker shadows and perhaps an angle change of the light. Give it a couple of degrees to the side. So let's move that 150. Put that shadow down to 40. Space too dark, can't see. So we have the strong bloom here. I actually kind of want to see what this looks like with the lasers and such firing. The one Corvette. I would so, you have no idea, I would so love to be able to obstruct the ring? No? What do you call it when something is darker? Not obstruct, obscure, maybe? Anyway, what I mean to say is what I would really like is if I could find a way to make this ring not illuminate. When it's on the not illuminated side of the Death Star. But I can't do that. Yeah, that bloom really makes these lasers look a lot brighter. Okay, so that done, let's see the Death Star effect. That blinking is way too large. Screenshot. Another screenshot. So focused on the screenshot, I didn't even look at the firing effect, but that's okay. Actually, no, that's not okay. I want to see it again. If we're here anyway, may as well reload, right? I didn't spend all that time on that firing effect, not to look at it.
Sensors are reporting that there is a hostile presence surrounding the planet. Lay waste to any forces that oppose the Empire.
See, that just looks cool, man. Epic music blaring in the background. Yes. Should set this as like menu music. Probably shouldn't, but because people will complain it's music other than Star Wars, but it's epic. This is, what's it even called? I know the track, of course, but I don't actually know what it's... Right, oh, that's my son, obviously. And why is the UI there? Huh. I was about to say, that's a weird bug. Okay, I'm gonna do one more map, guys, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day. But we are going to finish this with great vengeance, and it's gonna be a blue map. Because we get an ocean planet over here. Frisia, it's an ocean planet, right? Frisia, Star Wars. That looks very planety. Oceany. Planety? What? Yeah, that planet looks very planety, guys. Still views? Yep, certainly. But of course, for my viewers here to stay, because of course you guys are the legends that are trucking with me through the pain of editing these maps, I will give you something after this. I'm going to build a CIS versus Republic battle, full command cap, the entire thing, spawn it at a map, and then I'm going to do the battle live for you guys. The entire thing. Gonna have like 10 Venators, a couple of Providences, a couple of Luckrolls. It's gonna be madness. I don't know if the game's gonna handle it. We're gonna see. I do like a stress test every now and then, and I'm gonna do it on a fancy map lighting map. And it's gonna be awesome. It's only gonna be for you guys. It's gonna of course be at the end of the VOD, but nobody watches to the end of the VODs, guys. This will be an exclusive. So you spawn the fleet in front of a couple of asteroids. What? You fucking what, mate? Okay. Ocean, 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 ocean. Oh god, I remember the time when, way back when, well, not the start of the mod, actually it may have been near the start. When I first redid the planet props, I had one planet prop which I liked, which was an ocean planet, best time specifically, and it was far larger than every other. The ocean prop was absolutely huge, and right now all the planets are huge. But at the time it seemed even larger simply because, well, it was the only one that was that gargantuan. I actually really liked it. 20,000? Sure. If we want to get up to 20, we have to like do 30. And minus, of course. I said sometimes I like this game and sometimes I don't. It varies. Don't we already have a ocean planet that looks kind of like this? Yeah, but if we put it on. Okay. No clipping. Good. We're just gonna pretend there's no clipping. We're gonna smack the Death Star right over there. Death Star. Because I saw that change. I saw that position here, and I saw it change the moment I clicked Death Star. Now it's unselected, and now it's too late, so we're gonna roll with it. But fuck. 40,000. $42,000. Distance units. Frisia, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it with. Okay, so major battle. Let's see. 3 Luckerhawks, 5 Providences, 20 Munificents. If we had Recusants, I'd use them, but we don't. Do we have any CIS ships other than that? No, not really. A couple of fighters, but those will be spawned by the Providences. Right, Galactic Conquest, Empire. Against 10 Venators. 15 acclimators, probably. A couple of dreadnoughts. I don't like to use too many dreadnoughts. It worked! First try! That is actually make me happy. You know, maybe we shouldn't make it as blue. You know, the white of the ships actually just kind of contrasts the blue of the planet. That's weird as fuck. Yeah, but it works, so. Whatever. Remember guys, if it's stupid, but it works, it's not stupid. No, no, no. Whew. Almost did it. I almost felt very stupid. Ambient color. See, how about we put that to 100? Is that actually better? Yeah, marginally. Fog shadows. Okay, what's this set at? 20! Oh, low zeg. How about no? Much better. Oh, that's also immediately a lot darker. That's okay. Okay, so we'll just move this over here. Actually, we'll move it over there. No, I don't like that. But I do like that. You know what I would like even more? Even darker. Oh, 3's good. Okay, so... You know what? We rarely ever get to see the Death Star in full view. Maybe we should have that. It's more about the planet than about the Death Star. If I actually remember that it exists, this little trick of just replacing the map and not having to reload the game, it's very useful. See? That looks great. That just looks...
These vagrants stand in our way. Eliminate them to prepare for our land invasion.
Screenshot. Another screenshot. I constantly keep making these screenshots of like the Death Star and then a few Star Destroyers right in front of it being super small. It's like the same screenshot every time in like different lighting settings. It's kind of stupid. I kind of like it. Our starbase. Do we have a starbase? No, but we do have a very, very, very poor nebula B that's going to get blasted to smithereens. That one specifically. Ah, no, I can't see it. Fuck.
Reload! Damn it! We will see that epic firing sequence. Full glory. Which needs to spread out a bit. Death Star can't fire until it's rotated into firing position anyway. Oh boy. Did I mention I like that? Firing effect, guys? I know it must be getting obnoxious by this point, but damn. What's that video of the guy going like, damn. I've got that in my head every time. And now for the battle. I did actually do quite a bit of work. Let's see, how much did we actually do? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maps. That's quite good. Still like 20 left, but we are getting there. Slow and steady wins the race. More rain. More rain. Maps, unit test. Where's my unit test map? It should be somewhere here. There we go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Little question to the chat here. Do we like Empire against CIS? Do we like Republic versus CIS? Do we like Republic versus Empire? Or do we want the Rebellion mixed in somewhere? What do we want? What do we want to see? Give me some opinions. If you're using this as background noise, then this is the time to tap into the stream and leave your comment. Let's see. Seems legit. 6 out of 10, too much planet. Yeah. Well, I do like to keep the planets large because, well, they're planets, you know. Well, while that goes, let's listen to that one again. It's just so good. It's the intro cinematic music to intro cinematic music. What the fuck are you even talking about? No, it's the music to the cinematic of the Wrath of the Lich King expansion for the World of Warcraft MMO. Which, of course, pretty much all Blizzard cinematics are top notch and great. But that one in particular is just so good. Sounds awesome too, as you can hear. Republic versus Rebellion. Now that is something that I wouldn't have expected, but we'll do it. Republic versus Rebellion. I want to see some Dreadnought cruisers. Well, sure. Republic versus Rebellion. Okay. Now we'll do some Republic versus Rebellion. Let's see. I was expecting everyone to say CIS versus something else. What chips would I use? Couple of these. A few of those. Not too many. Obviously. Gunboats, useful little ships. Marauder Underworld? No, I just want the regular one. These ships are, of course, expensive as fuck, so we're not going to build too many of them. MC-30, obviously. Now, the MC-30 is not actually that useful in this battle, because the Republic's focus is, of course, on fighter squadrons. And they don't have really strong, powerful battleships anyway, so... Not yet, anyway.
Nebulon B free. Nebulon Bs are actually very, very cheap in the mod. They don't cost a lot, so you can actually have quite a few of them. I wouldn't call them a mainline cruiser, but you could make them a mainline cruiser if you have enough of them. I think we're going well over 100 command points here. I think we're actually going significantly over that. If we had a Dauntless, I'd use it. No, let's not. Obviously. Alright. Now we all know that... Actually, before we go, let's first make sure this all works. Spawn gear. Oh, this is far more than 100 command points, guys. This is a fucking powerful fleet right here. At least I think it's higher. It must be higher than 100 command points. If it's not, I'll be mighty surprised. Those small ships do add up, you know? Now, of course, the main warship of the Republic is the Venator. So we're gonna need a lot of Venators. Like that many. That's vertical. What I was looking for is that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a bit much, right? Yeah, that's a bit much. But fuck it. Couple of these sprinkled in there. And then a couple of acclimators, which, where are these? Are these up here? Maybe. Probably. Right, we're gonna go with the acclimator 1, which is just the standard regular one. Now this is 200 command points. So we're gonna have to give the rebellion something to help against that, because this is a little bit insane. In fact, this is more than you will ever see on any map ever. So we need some more rebel ships. And the most solid warship they have is, well, against this, probably the MC-80. So how about we get a couple more? I'm not sure if this is balanced. I don't think this is balanced. I think that this is highly in favor of the Republic. what are we fighting over? No, wait, this has the shitty texture, never mind. We can do better. You know what? Let's just set it to 5,000 for once. See how that works out. It may not, but we'll see. Now, what do we do in terms of balance? Because I still think this is a little bit imbalanced. These Venators are going to wipe the floor with this assault force, but these have diamond boron missile cruisers, so maybe we just add it like there. All right. Empire versus Rebellion, here we go. Well, Empire, Republic. No, I'm not going to start blaring Star Wars music through this, because then I'll still get copyright struck at the end of the video, which would kind of suck. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know, 3-4 hours at this point, mapping stream only to have a copyright flag at the end of it. Here we go. I can't guarantee that the game won't crash because of this, because it wasn't built to handle this. Okay, we may have increased the command cap significantly, but this is insane. I think I'm gonna be the... Yeah, I'll be the Republic. Which I guess I'll be blue. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are ready. This may slow down to a crawl. I've got no idea if this will even work. But we're going to try. Here we go. It's a large fucking flame. What? What is that? What? You fucking what, mate? You're going to ruin my demonstration here? What is that all about? This is the regular Nebulon B frigate. Why does that have... I'm gonna fix this real quick. But it worked on the other one, right? Did this not work on that, on the Pirate Nebulon B that we just saw? When we blew some up with the Death Star? Why does it now... engines, right? Does it need health to function? It may. But it worked, so why would it... Whatever, we'll just add 1 to it and see what happens. Alright. If this doesn't work, then we'll just deal with it. I don't expect these Nebula beasts to last very long anyway, so... Also, I'm kind of surprised that everything just went as smoothly as it did. Like, everything spawned and there were very few FPS drops. Okay. Fire Rebellion. Easy, medium, hard, it doesn't matter. It doesn't give the AI any bonuses. And there we go. Alright, so,
Roger. Copy that. Cruiser here. Reporting in.
first of all, I think I'm gonna set everything to hunt.
Reporting.
And then I think... How the hell do you even command a battle like that? Oh, good, they're gonna move into it ourselves. So that means that we can just open fire with everything?
Cruiser online. Yes, Commander.
You know what?
Standing by.
We're gonna do this. And then we're gonna do this. And then we're just gonna watch what happens. While I take screenshots. That's a lot of missiles. Ah! Love that sound file. It's just ah! Damn! I should hang on. Sorry, I fucked up. Hang on. Bear with me for a second. Okay. Okay, let's proceed. If this works, it'll be the most epic stress test I've ever done.
Encountering resistance. I've got it lined up. Drawing their fire.
Fucking hell. That's a lot of shit. I'm gonna keep taking screenshots of this. I don't know what these super heavy torpedoes are gonna hit, but if they hit a dreadnought, then it might actually one-shot an entire dreadnought cruiser with just 4 torpedoes. And I'm actually gonna watch that. Whoa, whoa. It may. If it hits, but I don't think it's gonna hit. No, I don't think it's gonna. Damn. That's a shame.
Roger that.
Okay, everyone stop, drop, and roll, and, well, have fun. That thing got smashed. Everything just blows up. I'm just gonna keep pressing the screenshot button.
Switch the attack pattern. We've lost the missile launcher. Someone's on my tail. The torpedo launcher has been destroyed. I'm with you. I've got my approach vector. Keep your eyes open.
I think they broke through on one side.
Oh, there come the super heavy torpedoes. Oh, those do so much damage. You just know that whatever side of the ship that was on is just gone now. There's nothing left.
Our missile launcher is gone. We need to break off. The torpedo launcher has been destroyed. Our shields aren't holding. Shields are down. I'm with you. They've destroyed our torpedo launcher.
Can we just Mod of the Year award now, please?
The missile launcher.
Please and thank you.
Our shields aren't holding.
Fucking hell. Where else do you see this, man? FX Mod can suck on these nuts.
Vector set. Beginning attack pattern beta. Keep in formation.
Yup, screenshot. Yeah, another one. Yeah, another one. Yeah, and a few more. There's one, and that's another one. That one, definitely. Another one. Yes. Screenshot again. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. This is with all the... That's insane. This is with like 10 vendors or some shit. There spawn so many fighters. If the mod survive, if the game survives this, then while recording with OBS, then I'm gonna say I never need to worry about another fucking performance issue ever again.
Withdrawing their fire. Beginning attack pattern beta. Withdrawing their fire. Keep in formation.
When I get out of cinematic mode, the entire minimap is just gonna be one red blob. Just one attack warning. Yeah, thank you, yeah. It's another... Screenshots for weeks, man.
Launcher is gone.
Won't need to do another battle ever again. Oh, I missed that.
Our lasers have been destroyed.
Didn't have my finger on the button.
Our shields aren't holding. Swinging around. Got one. Keep your eyes open. Blasted nerve herders. Incoming. Unmatched.
Yeah, couple more.
Thrusters and vector set. Blasted nerve herders. Got my post vector. Vector set. We've lost the missile launcher. Drawing the fire. Post vector. They've destroyed our torpedo launcher. Thrusters at all.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Beginning attack pattern beta. Blasted nerve herders. Withdrawing their fire.
This was a great idea. I'm gonna do this at the end of every stream.
And one on me. Withdrawing their fire. Vector set.
Alright, I'm gonna go out of cinematic mode. Keep an eye on the minimap. Keep an eye on the minimap.
Drawing their fire.
Yeah, that was about what I expected.
Warm up. Moving out. Swinging around.
Whoa!
Waiting order.
Did they just... Okay, the Rebellion actually survived that. Turns out, Starhawk's pretty good. And MC-80s. A lot better than I expected. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, another one, please, yeah. You know what, just another one with the UI, just so people know this is an in-game screenshot, yeah.
It's no good.
1
I don't think the damage particles on the Venator main guns work. Well, I think the main battle is over. And I think the rebellion won. I'm gonna post the most epic screenshot dump in the screenshot channel anyone's ever seen. I think the last Venator has gone down. Yeah, it's gone down. Wow. 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 Okay, so, wow, yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I am mighty surprised. Hang on while I turn on the webcam again. I am mighty surprised that the game survived that. But the fact that it did, and the fact that it did it at the FPS that it did, I think is a great achievement, I'm not gonna lie. What is this madness that you just do? Bro, you came in at the perfect time. You could not have done a better entrance timing. This is how Liberty dies, killed by its successors, yeah. Wow. Did you fix the lag completely in huge battles? Bro, did you fucking see what I just No, you may have just gotten in at the end of the battle. But if you watch back on the VOD... My god. Well, that is a great note to end the stream on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and joining me on the great mapping stream. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.